Hi, I'm Pastor David with Declaration Church, and as I was reading a portion of scripture we're going to talk about today, I started to think about those times where I have not paid attention to the sign on a door. A door to get in someplace, a door to get out of someplace. Those times that I have not really been paying that close attention to how the door functions. I think we've all probably been in this situation once or twice, where we walk up to a door and we assume it functions a certain way. And then we discover we were not exactly accurate in our assumption. For instance, you walk up to a door and it has one of those odd kind of handles on it that, it has maybe the plate on it plus a little hook or something, or has a bar across the front, and you look at it and you think, oh, this is a door that is push to open, or this is a door that is pull to open, or you look at it and you just assume that it goes one way or another, and you begin to push on the door. You push on the bar and you're pushing and it's not opening. You cannot get the door open. And so you assume it's locked. In fact, it reminds me of a scene from Tommy Boy. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that particular movie. It's an old movie now. It doesn't feel that old to me, which may say something about my own age, but it's an older movie. Has Chris Farley in it, David Spade, really funny movie, very funny movie. I think the humor actually lives much longer than than some other movies in the past. I think it's still relevant today, but in this particular portion of the movie, the main character, Tommy, is running to class. He is freaking out because it's time for his final. He's got to get to a final in order to pass this class, and he runs to get there. He is running late. He's behind. And because of the scene and the way that they put it together, you get this flashback portion of it as well, and you recognize he's always been late. He runs late habitually. And so he's running and he's putting in all this effort trying to get to class on time. And he gets there and he pulls on the door and he's giving it everything he's got, all his strength. He's working on those doors and he cannot get the door to open. And he sinks down on the ground, defeated. Like, I can't believe I'm going to miss this final. I'm going to fail this class. There's no way I can pass it if I don't take the final. Someone else walks up behind him, less imposing physically, and they grab the handle and they just turn it and pull, and the door opens. And he realizes, the door's not locked. The door's not locked. I can get in. So he gets up and he kind of looks around, not wanting anyone to have seen his panic, pulling and thrusting and trying to open the doors. Just pulls the handle down and swings the door open and runs into the building so that he can get into a seat. In the next seat, you see he's sitting in his seat in the classroom and he's panting and his hair is all disheveled. And the professor puts his test down on his desk and looks at him and just shakes his head and walks away because he knows this kid is disorganized. He's not really, he's habitually late. He's not really paying attention. He's not focused on the important things in life. And he hasn't done well at school. He's not an academic. And it's funny because I just see that scene of him pulling and working that door, trying to get it open, and it just won't open for him because he's not actually operating the door the way it was designed to be used. And I think we've all walked up to doors that we couldn't get in, whether it was because we just weren't paying attention or because the doors were locked and no matter what we tried, we couldn't get in. Those times maybe where you put your key in the lock and you turn it and the key snaps off and now you can't get the door open and you're panicked. You don't know what to do. I think we've all had those times in our lives where we just couldn't get in where we wanted to get in. And I came across this particular scripture and I started to think about those times where we wanted to get in someplace and we couldn't, or we wanted to get out of someplace and we couldn't because the door wasn't working the way that we thought it did. It's in Genesis chapter 7, verse 16. And it says, and those that entered, meaning the ark. Okay, so when Noah and his family and all of the animals that God has brought to him get onto the ark, it says, and those that entered, male and female of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him. And the Lord shut him in. See, God closes the door of the ark behind all of those who are going to be boarding on the ark. Once every animal that is supposed to be on the ark is on the ark, once Noah and his family are on the ark, God closes the door and shuts the door to the ark. Now, if God closes that door, he's going to be like that big bully that's pushing on the door, holding you inside when you're trying to get out. And no matter how hard you push, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you pound on that door, it will not open. Because when God closes a door, that door is closed. No one can open a door that he has closed. And what we have a tendency to do in our lives, when God closes a door, when he shuts off an opportunity for us, I know I have, at least in the past, had a tendency to begin to just pout and sulk and sink down to the ground and pout. Kind of like Tommy Boy trying to get into that building when he couldn't. And I just give up. And what we should be doing is looking for the open door. See, eventually God actually allows the door of the ark to be opened. Once the rains have come and subsided, once the floods have come and subsided, once everything has kind of returned to a baseline, so it's safe for everyone to exit the ark, God opens the door. The door is opened to the ark and everyone's allowed to come out. But while it's not safe, while it's not where people should be going, while there's no reason to open the door, it can't be opened. And God knows where we need to go. So when we ask him for guidance, we shouldn't be surprised that we find closed doors. We shouldn't be surprised that we see opportunities we thought we wanted, that we were convinced were the right door. We shouldn't be surprised when those things are closed. Because when they are, it's oftentimes God's way of directing us and putting us right where we need to be so that we are safe and we are where we belong and we can move forward in his plan for our lives the way that we've asked. If you ask God for guidance, don't be surprised when there are doors that will not open for you. But I also want to encourage you with this. It's in Revelation chapter 3, and it's in Jesus' letter to the church of Philadelphia. It says in verse 8, I know your works. God could say the same thing to us. He knows everything we've ever done, everything we'll ever do. He knows all of our thoughts, but he says, I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut. I know that you have but little power, and yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. What's so encouraging about this is that when God opens a door for us, there's no one that can shut it. None of our enemies, no one that would oppose us, none of those people in our past or in our future that have caused us all kinds of grief and trouble and trial in our lives, no one and nothing can shut that door. When God opens a door, the door is open, and all you have to do is walk through it. And so when you find closed doors in your life, and you see opportunities falling by the wayside, opportunities that are not there for you, even though you tried to pursue them, you were pushing on those doors and they were not opening. Look for the open door. Look for the open door, because God has opened one and there's no one in the universe that can close the door until you walk through. So hopefully this is challenging to you. It's encouraging to you. If you've found yourself just running into closed door after closed door after closed door, know that there is an open door. You just have to find it, and that God has opened that door for you and is ready for you just to walk right through. And no one's going to be able to close it because he's the one that's got it open. And he's holding the door open for you. No one's going to be able to close it. And trust that those closed doors aren't things you missed out on. They're things that God didn't allow in your life so that you could get exactly where he wants you. So pray for guidance and trust that God has opened exactly the door that you need to walk through and closed the others so that you can go exactly where he wants you to go. Be encouraged. God is guiding you. God has plans for you. He created you with an identity and a purpose. And you learn those things through relationship with him and the other people around you. So pursue him. Pursue who you are and who you're created to be through relationship with him and others, and you will discover that purpose and be able to live that out. You'll find the open door, and then you can walk right through it. So hopefully this is encouraging to you. And if it's been challenging or encouraging to you, go ahead and click that like button. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel so that you and I can continue to walk with each other through the scripture and learn what it means to follow Jesus on a daily basis. Thanks for letting me be a part of your journey today. If you want some more videos of ours, go ahead and just check out these two things here. Pick a series of videos or just the next one that is just right for you according to YouTube. So as always, I'm Pastor David, and I'm out.